There was a brutal and fierce war that erupted between the British Empire and Napoleon Bonaparte's French Empire during the early 19th century. This war was fought for a very long time, spanning over a decade, and it had an impact on European history. It was known as the Napoleonic Wars. To understand the context of this war between the British and Napoleon, we can say it was traced back to the French Revolutionary War, because during that Revolutionary War Napoleon rose to power as one of the most powerful military leaders. Immediately after Napoleon gained enough power in France, he set his eyes on expanding the French Empire, which led to him challenging the British dominance. This war lasted between 1803 to 1815, and during that time we saw Napoleon Bonaparte's French challenging the mighty British Empire's dominance in a different series of brutal conflicts, either by sea or land. The French attempted an invasion through the sea, clashing with the British Royal Navy. You may also know that as the Navy arena. The British Royal Navy had total control over the sea, where they ruled supreme. The British Royal Navy's expertise on the sea was unchallenged. In 1805, Napoleon suffered a crushing defeat at the hand of Admiral Horatio Nelson at the Battle of Trafalgar, which led to him losing a lot of French and Spanish fleet, preventing a French invasion. Despite his crushing defeat, Napoleon still had the ambition to undermine Britain's powers. He tried other means by turning to continental Europe, and he began to implement systems on how to destroy Britain, by isolating the nation, and trying to cripple the British trade by using an economic blockade. At the end of the day, this did not go as exactly as planned by Napoleon, because many countries in Europe depended on trading with Britain, and Napoleon's implementation began to hurt those European countries, leading to resentment. Napoleon wanted to destroy the British power so much that even when using economic warfare he still made use of military strategies for the purpose of weakening the British. In 1808, General Junot was sent to invade Portugal, closing its ports with British trade. But a successful counterattack was launched by British forces led by General Arthur Wellesley, who would later attain the position of Duke Wellington, and they were able to successfully repel the French army out of Portugal. After successfully repelling the French army out of Portugal, they engaged themselves in battle in the Iberian Peninsula, which was later known as the Peninsular War, where a series of fierce battles and guerrilla warfare occurred during this conflict. British army was not the only one fighting the French anymore, as the Portuguese forces joined them, and also with the support of the Spanish guerrillas, engaging in a fierce battle against the French army. The British army and her allies suffered heavy casualties and losses, and in 1814, they were able to repel the French army out of the Iberian Peninsula and once again crush Napoleon's ambitions. On land, Napoleon was undeniably one of the most powerful military power, as he was able to attain numerous victories, one of them the Battle of Austerlitz, which happened in 1805, in which he ended up winning against the forces of Russia and Austria combined. But with the sudden involvement of British and other coalitions, this involvement ended up straining him and his army. What gradually led to Napoleon's ultimate defeat and decimation of his army was in 1812, when he attempted to evade Russia. And there he came face to face with the Russian winter, and also with other scorched earth tactics and strategic retreat, and these factors led to the decimation of his army. After this failed attempt, Napoleon began to experience a series of defeats and setbacks, which ended up leading to his downfall. Napoleon was exiled to the islands of Elba in 1814 after abdicating the throne. After being defeated and exiled, Napoleon escaped exile in 1815, and went back to France in hopes of defeating his enemies. This brief period was called the 100 Days. During this brief period, he went to battle facing the British coalition at the Battle of Waterloo. In this battle, Napoleon's forces were ultimately crushed and defeated by the British coalition consisting of Britain, Prussia, Russia, and Austria, which was led by Duke of Wellington. This crushing defeat was the end of Napoleon's reign and the Napoleonic Wars.